Hello, 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 and welcome to The Come Up. Hey, it's me, it's Nick, I'm back. Crazy things. It's been a while. A lot has changed. I'm coming to you from my New York apartment. Um, I've been here for a few months now. For those that may not know, I am now the program director for the Black Theater Coalition. So that work has brought me out east, where I assist in getting Black folks skills through workforce development for the theater. So that's super exciting. And, living the New York life, it's tough sometimes because, New York can be tough sometimes. But for the most part, I'm grateful. I have a good space that I'm in. I do have great friends that are here. They all just happen to live very far away from me. But that's okay. The work that I'm doing is amazing. I really love the people that I work with. I think that they're awesome. Um, and I love the current cohort of fellows that we're working with. I think they're great humans to be connected to, and our partners are great people, and I'm having a good time meeting the people doing the work out here in these New York streets. So that is where I'm coming to you from. That's a little update on me. While I am out here doing this work, I have talked a lot on this show about what this work looks like and how to do it successfully. And we are still learning every day. I'm still learning every day. And lately, I've been moving towards, another pivot, another step in my journey towards equity, inclusion, access, whatever it is the words are that we're seeking in the theater. With so much going on in the theater industry at large, there's craziness happening on Broadway. There is craziness happening in Chicago. There is craziness happening in Omaha, Nebraska. I thought it would be great to bring together some of my favorite people and minds and theater makers and have a real conversation about what folks of color and those in the LGBTQA plus and accessibility communities, um, there is a way for that we can start to chart our own paths. We don't have to continue to bow to the power that be to stay successful or be involved in the art making process of a community. In fact, you can make deeper community when you um, jump off the ledge, take the step, and move towards your own freedom in life, work, and art. So here's a conversation with me uh, and my dear friends and mentors, Carla Stillwell, Denise Chapman, and Echelle Childers. Enjoy. I love all the faces that I'm seeing right now. How are you all? What's going on in your lives? What's happening? It's been a while since I've talked to all of you together. It's been a while since I've seen you all because I'm famously in New York now. It's it's been a while since you've all been on the show. I mean, since we've had an episode of the come up, and a lot has happened since then. I think last time Carla and I talked was the on the show was the election.
Hmm.
Election night recap. And then Michelle and Denise were on an episode where we talked about Omaha theater and said some things I'm not sure we still agree with. Anyway, so how's everybody doing?
Right.
I'll start. It's I'm in Chicago for those who don't know. I'm Carla Stillwell, director, producer, all around great gal, and it's been so ridiculous, and the shenanigans have been so thick that my best friend and I have decided to write a book. We want to call
Yes.
it The Unhealed and the Unwashed, a comprehensive guide. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working on the novel, The
I've
Unhealed and the Unwashed.
I have sent in my pre-order.
Yeah,
yes,
I
yeah,
love
no,
that book.
everybody, all the pre-orders are in. Y'all will be getting it. It will also be on Autobooks. We're going to do an Audible, and after everyone else, speaks, I will tell you about the chapters. And the
Okay, great.
chapters
I was gonna say we have to get the chapters out here at some point.
the chapters probably coincide with everything we're going to talk about today.
Real.
Yeah.
Echelle, what's going on in your life? What's happening?
Well, I'm Echelle Childers, and I am a native of Omaha, Nebraska. I stayed in Omaha. I've continued to do theater and try to do some activism, and I am constantly trying to break down brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. Sometimes I'm trying to punch my way out because they've covered me in brick. So, but you know what? I'm here. I'm fangirling out being here with y'all. Let me just tell you that. Denise is my heart. Carla, you are amazing. I'm so happy to be here with you. We have not had this opportunity.
I know.
So excited. So I'm just, you know what? I'm living every day, and I'm taking my steps and making decisions based on what I know now.
Ding, ding, ding.
Come on in the room.
That's a whole word. That last sentence was a whole word.
Just saying.
Denise, what's going on in your world?
Hey, everybody. Denise Chapman here, theater practitioner based out of Omaha, Nebraska. I'm day gigging over at the Union, making theater happen. Because yes, there's Black theater in Omaha, Nebraska. The bricks are tumbling. Like the demo has begun on the new space. It's all fenced off. There's large machinery knocking down walls. It's happening. So it is good. And we just got back. We took a little coalition to the Black Theater Network conference in Detroit. I know how you feel, Carla. I already know, but we went.
I'm sorry. Let me.
Yeah, you had a whole face that said them bleepity bleep bleep bleeps. But I was looking for a couple people and I found them. So
okay.
Yes.
Listen, as long as you find your couple people, that's what
you found your people.
I found the people that I needed to find. So
because there's always a diamond in the rough. Here you go.
It gets real rough sometimes looking for them.
Listen, I was just about to say, speaking of rough, before we launch into the shenanigans of it all, I just want to say, and I said this to the panel, that this episode of the Come Up is, I think on this show I spent a lot of time talking to folks about like, what can we do to like push this industry forward? How do we show people the work that is happening, that can like move us towards progress together in this mission that we're all on at the same time, right? Lies. It was all lies. So I am no longer interested in that version of the conversation. And I found that a lot of us are just stuck sometimes because we're not exactly sure if we're supposed to be like making this work and finding our place for it to work, or even what it takes or how to make something of our own, or what that even means or looks like. Do I even want to like do that in traditional theater? Like what is the thing that I don't know. So that's like where I'm at right now. And I tried to make like 15 Facebook statuses and I couldn't achieve it. And I was like, wow, this is why I have a talk show. And so I wanted to bring us all here today just so we can put out on the table, like, there's a lot happening right now. We've got Garth Dobrinsky on the Broadway that's now on the do not work list after taking away $500,000 of people's dues and the show closing, and everybody let him not only like get a theater, but like make the show happen, and they invested, and the creators. So like, where does that accountability start? We've got the Shanae Negukus that's going on in I'm so happy Carla's here because Chicago is having we've got Victory
It's the
Gardens.
nana nan.
We've got Goodman. We've got
It's the nana nan.
personal stories of shenanigans. There's just lots happening in Chicago right now.
Propriety.
There's a little bit of Shanae Boo Boos going down to my hometown of Omaha, Nebraska.
Look, we got the Gans here.
Not the Gale.
So I brought together, we have all been affected by the shenanigans of the post 2020 theater, whatever.
The fuck that was.
Yeah. So so let's start there, right? So 2020 happens, everybody was born. Everybody was like, we're gonna be good people. Like, this is how it's gonna happen. Of course we didn't believe that. But did we think that it would become this ridiculous again this quickly?
Yes, I did. I did. And for people that know me, Echelle, we have been satellited, but I'm fairly certain you and I have had the similar conversations. These two other ones know me and know that I said in 2020, watch these motherfuckers run head first back into the church as soon as the doors of the church open again, and allow themselves to be victims of the same foolishness because it was so performative. And there wasn't there because silly people thought this was forever. So they were like, well, I'm gonna say all the things I want to say. And another thing, I was discriminated against, and another thing, work conditions, and another thing. And they said it all. And because the powers that be weren't certain how it was going to go down, they did something performative to calm the waters. They put all of these Black and brown and queer people in positions of power when there was no theater happening, when there were Zoom readings and Zoom productions, when the stakes were super low. And I said I know those two, the Nick and the D, watch what happened as soon as the real money starts and the doors open and Broadway opens back and the people can get back on stage. So yeah, I knew this was going to happen. And I'm surprised, what did it take, 18 months?
Was it a whole 18?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That.
A whole 18 before we started hearing about it.
And same taste, different flavor.
True. Mm-hmm.
Because nothing was real.
Right.
Nothing was real. The larger Lord and regional theaters were trying not to get canceled before things could come back. And I said something to Nick this morning, we were talking, and I've been saying it this week because of what's going on in Chicago. Some people that watch this will know me. A lot of people won't because I move in silence, like real bad boys. And I've had my freedom papers for years. I cross state lines. You can't question me. You put me over, well, girl, where you going? To Missouri, wherever the fuck I want to go. You know what I'm saying? I have my freedom papers. But a lot of my BIPOC and queer and accessibility challenged people have been waiting for the institutions to accept them, but they're not free. So they were glamming on to any George Floyd of it all, hoping that would be the Juneteenth for them. But the only way you can do that is if you had stood on it when the theaters opened back up. As soon as they said, here's a $200 check, all y'all ran your asses back up in Massa House. And here we are. I'm gonna stop talking and sip my bourbon.
I mean, because yes, And I think that there was, I will say that I also think that there was a moment where even folks that were still, and I was still hanging on, I was like, there was possibly there's enough pressure right now that we may be able to like wedge in this conversation and make this thing like bust open in some way. I quickly realized, y'all noticed, I was slated to direct 3 shows. I directed 1. Because I quickly realized, I was like, oh, no. Y'all playing them games. And I just wonder what it takes for more folks to get to the point where, we're like, oh, no. Y'all playing them games. Like, and I'm not gonna do it. So like, what is the thing that pushes more of us into the place of, we can't be superheroes. Like we've been trying to be superheroes.
Okay, I said I was gonna be quiet, but I'm not. Freedom requires personal sacrifice.
Speak on it.
Freedom requires personal sacrifice. Back in the year of our Lord, 1996, when I was a young, tender theater artist, very delicate in voice, I made an executive decision for my life that I was going to stop fucking with the W's, the whites, the male sapient American theater community completely. And I gave my life, and I gave my art, and I gave my creativity to a small, which I helped turn into a mid-sized Black theater company called Impact, the Production Association of African-Centered Theater here in Chicago, and I was there for 22 seasons. During those 22 seasons, I personally reached out to a bunch of these Negro Americans. Come over, come play with us, come do the work, come here. But we weren't high profile enough. Fame wasn't close enough. There was a time where you would have to still work and cater your tables. And you still had to do that with the white people, but it seemed like there was a closer proximity to success. So you were willing to make that sacrifice for white theater. But I'm free. Look at all of this that life has afforded me, my bourbon and my rent paid, because I'm free. But y'all don't want to, and that's what freedom costs, personal sacrifice. Denise is over there doing all this positive Black shit in Omaha. But she has to convince, and I know this, she has to convince the Black people that it's worth their time to come work with her.
It's a true statement.
Right, it's hard to say anything when it's true. I mean, I admit to being someone who has placed myself in positions where I knew my fight might be harder, but I just kept trying to break through, not for personal gain, for those coming behind me, because I've been there and I've seen how they treat me and how they treat us. And I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want it for them. I don't want it for them. I'm done. I got to the union, and I'm done. I have finished my time trying to do anything for those folks. They're not, the white folks are not, they're not worth what they've done to me.
But, and Echelle, can you want more for somebody than they want for themselves?
Not anymore. I have done that. I won't do it anymore. It's pointless. It's pointless. all that's done to me is make me have to sit in the dark and reassess who I am. I'm over 50 years old. I got 4 kids. 2 of them are grown, out of college. What the hell am I doing? Sitting up here arguing with you when you're dumb.
But yes.
Oh my God.
But yes.
But it's true. Like when I'm the one sitting in the room and I'm the only one sitting in the room that has these experiences and have had 35 years worth of these experiences, and you trying to fight me when you've had 3 months of this experience, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. No, actually, I'll go. I'll go because I don't need to be here. I don't want to be here. And so it is, for someone who has always been quite a realist, I always tried to be quite hopeful that things would at some point be different. Be, I mean, the buzzwords, inclusion, all of those things, those aren't our words. Those are words they put on us. They put those words on us to make us feel like we weren't doing the work either. And then they want us to do the work for them. And then when we do the work, what happens to us? We get called out. We get fired. We get called the bad apples. We get called the ones who talk too much, the ones who say too much. Done. That's
what the French call gaslighting.
Thank you.
That part.
Hello. Part. All of that part.
I had to call Denise. I called her. I said, Denise, I ain't been right.
I remember that phone call.
I ain't been right. I was like, I ain't been right. I've done wrong. And I'm not doing it anymore. I will no longer. And you know, Denise and Nick know me. I've been around a long time, doing this a long time, all kinds of it, up and down and all around. And, you know, the things that people have said and done, like to us and to people, I've watched things like something as simple as, we talked about this before, slave speak. I'm sorry, you're going to try to teach me slave speak? This white woman is going to try to teach me slave speak, and then she does it first? I should have known then. I should have walked away and never come back. But no, I didn't want to be the one. I wanted to be the one that was like, oh, let's work through this. Maybe this can be a teaching moment for us. It's not a teaching moment. Nobody wants to be fucking taught.
No.
They know everything already.
That's the part that gets me. Because I'm like we're always like, it's gonna be a fight, it's gonna be a struggle. Why is it a fight and why is it a struggle? And here's why it's double confusing. Because you made your Instagram page black on that Tuesday because you knew Black Lives Matter. You was at the protest. You told me that I need to vote for the rights. Like, you know that you want paid medical leave. You know that you want childcare at your workplace. Like, you have said out loud on social media and in conversation and in your voting rallying cries, all the things that you need for the society to be liberal and equitable. So why am I fighting you for those same things where we're playing make-believe?
I'm going to say,
Denise, this is the best.
Don't get excited.
Denise just
because
sipping tea
Denise
and
probably
laughing.
knows exactly where I'm about to go. That motherfucking bitch Sarah Rule. And I'm still waiting for somebody to tell that bitch to call Carla Stillwell. Call me, motherfucker, so we can talk about it. So, these liberal ass, white ass, theater ass professionals out here with their pink pussy hats on, and now they wearing the pink uterus chain because they reproductive rights and shit. All this shit's going on. Sarah Rule, 2018, in the year of our Lord, she wouldn't even sit in the room, recorded herself at a conference, giving her speech for her, because the other silly white folks gave her a lifetime achievement. She the greatest white to come out of the Midwest award. So she does her speech about, oh, I'm so white and liberal and happy, and Meryl Streep is my idol. What the fuck she said. But this is where, and I haven't let it go since 2018. Because it hurt. It is irritating. It irritated my soul because it's the crux of the issue. She says in this speech, and I don't know, 2018, note the year. And I don't know what's going on in the world. You know, I'm from a small town like this one. We're all in Omaha, right? I'm from a small town like this one. And, you know, I'm used to spirited political debates with my family during the holidays. And now things have gotten so contentious that we don't even talk about politics anymore so that we can enjoy our time together as a family. Eat a vegan unseasoned dick.
Thank you.
You horrible whore. And all the whores like you. 53% of white women voted for that Moss in 2016, and 55% of you voted for him in 2020.
That's up
You want to
to
know what's wrong with American theater? America. You know what's wrong with America? White people, specifically white women, won't gather their cousins. I said, you know why 98% of Black women and 92% of Black men voted Democratic and voted their interests? Because we will sit at Thanksgiving and be like, Uncle Moss, what you talking about? You sound stupid. Uncle Moss. Everybody in the family will shame Uncle Moss, ignorant ass. I'm gonna vote for Trump. You gonna do what? Uncle
That's
Ray
how you get
Ray
a whole ass Black intervention.
right?
Right.
Uncle Ray will be like, N-word, you sound like a fool. You sound stupid. Because we will gather our cousins.
Mm-hmm.
My Latinx, Chicano, I don't know where my Latin people are on the spectrum right now, but wherever y'all are on the naming, they on the 70s. You know, we might be a little irritated with them, but as a group, they're in the 70% in climate. Our AARP fellows are in the 65% in climate because they are starting to gather their cousins.
Mm-hmm.
We are in a predicament where we are right now in society, and specifically in American theater, because American theater is populated by old white people. We're in the predicament we are right now because white women specifically will not gather their cousins. And they let Mimo and them sit around and talk stupid, and they don't want to have conflict at the Thanksgiving dinner.
At the unseasoned Thanksgiving dinner. I got to turn my black eyed peas down. I'll be right back.
Oh, this is perfect. We're gonna get a little transition over
I'm
here.
sorry I went on my political rant. I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay.
Don't be sorry, because everything is true.
Yeah.
Everything you say is true, but also not only that, I feel like one of the reasons they're not gathering them is because they haven't gathered themselves.
Because they believe that shit somewhere in their core.
Right.
Somewhere
In their
deep
core,
in
it is
core,
real to
they
them.
believe that because patriarchy is a hell of a drug.
Yep.
Patriarchy and systemic racism and colonization are drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a pyramid scam. It's like Mary Kay. Okay. If you ever sold Mary Kay, Avon, knives, any of that shit, you know what it is. They bring you all to the meeting and they tell you, go sell these and then go get your friends to sell it. And if y'all sell enough of it, you can earn a ticket to the convention. Yeah, you got to pay for all your incidentals, but you can at least get in the convention. And then if somebody has sold enough of it, when you get to convention, somebody's going to win a pink Cadillac. And white people, specifically white women, have been holding on to the idea that they will get that pink Cadillac if they pimp enough white supremacy in these streets. And what had happened was back in 2008, when Barack Hussein Obama got the White House, which is the pink Cadillac of white supremacy. These motherfuckers' souls broke. Broke. And they have not been repaired. And then here we are. And much like all of these Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes, it's trickle down. So here we are in theater. Because people like, Carla, you're talking about politics. We're talking about theater. Bitch, it's the same thing.
Same damn thing. Same thing.
Come on. Walk with me. So now, here we are in 2020, after Honky Kong, or the January 6th insurrection, it's Honky Kong. So after Honky Kong, and then y'all had the panorama, so you didn't even have to go outside after Honky Kong to deal with the actual mad honkies. And then the George Floyd shit happened, and everybody went to the streets. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, all this shit happens like in 8 weeks. So y'all get to like be mad, and then the white people who have a vested interest in holding the Ponzi scheme together start spoon feeding you bullshit. And you're so thirsty, and you're so sad, and you're so hurt, and you want the pink Cadillac too, and you want to be a part of it too. So you eat that shit.
And that's the part, right? That's
because
the part.
of colonized
like, how do I
mind.
get in? Not how do we get rid of it? It's how do I get in? And that has never been the answer. The answer has never been getting in. Mm-hmm. The answer has never been about getting in. And if anything, I will say, and I've said this to several people, I feel like the panorama increased my Garveyist in my personal philosophy by like 45%. Because and a lot of the space I was holding, Echelle, I feel like it's the same kind of space you were holding. And I call it that Midwest Negro syndrome, because you are one of one, one of two, and you keep walking in these spaces and you keep trying to like make space, hold space, make it better, try to get some more people on. And like, I just keep thinking about all that time and energy, right? And if we are to turn all that time and energy and stop trying to get in somewhere that was never designed for you to be there in the first place, and go build you somewhere where you are the center, where you are celebrated, where someone's ready to pour into you and grow you and create some sustainable shit that's here for generation after generation, right? Mm-hmm. A place that actually allows you to have control over your narrative as like Black people in the country. Because that's the thing that's like, I'm just so exhausted with, right? The performative selections, right, of acceptable Black stories that are palatable for the white audiences that we keep seeing. Nick and I were just having them conversations. Nick, hit him with the stats. Hit him with them stats you was telling me about, son.
So, you know, I mean,
I like stats, Nick.
Echelle does love
the
stats.
Statistics. I do too.
Oh, I love that research.
And this was just some quick research I did, because every other day I got on Facebook and some other theater company was doing Ain't Misbehaving or The Color Purple. So I was just curious. So
I'm about to die.
I hopped on to where those rights come from. And there are 19 productions of each of those shows happening between now and January of 2023. 19 productions across the nation. And what's frustrating about that is that, like, they're still just like, look, y'all, we did Ain't Misbehaving last year. Okay? Now, you can't say that we don't make space for you. And boy, it was hard to cast that. You know, we didn't really know where people were going to come from. So you telling me y'all all chose a show that you still going to say you didn't know where people was going to come from? Like, why y'all just keep lying? Y'all just don't actually want us here, except for the 2 times that you do, which is apparently when you do Ain't Misbehaving and The Color Purple. In the Heights, Allegiance, Miss Saigon. Like, I can just give like there's one for all of us. Like, and also, if you really want to dig into it, a lot of those stories are written by white people.
A lot.
Both.
Andrew Lloyd Webber has made so much money off the Negro and the AARP human being. Oh Lord, Andrew.
You know,
But
out there in them streets.
But whose fault is it? Is it Andrew's fault, or is it the board of directors' fault? Is it the front office? So let's talk about Chicago.
Yes, this was
segue.
This was the preamble, and now let's dive on it. Where would you like to start in Chicago? There are lots of things happening in Chicago.
Let's start with Victory Gardens and a colonized mind. Let's talk. What's this Negro's name? Because his name is Charles something the third. He's a lawyer. I block his last name out because he's Clarence Thomas, and it hurts me.
His name is Charles E. Harris II.
Oh, the second. Charles E. Harris, the 2 of them. And you done saddled some child behind you with that name. And he got to live with your fucking coonery. I said it. Nick can edit this if he wants to. I don't give a fuck.
I won't.
So, back in 2020, Victory Gardens tried to play a sleight of hands. Victory Gardens is one of the 4 regional theaters in Chicago. We have 4. Victory Gardens, Looking Glass, Goodman, and Steppenwolf. Mm-hmm. So we have 4 Lord theaters, but no, 5, Court. We have 5 Lord theaters in Chicago. None of them are run by Black people. It's fine. Now, Jackie Taylor in the Black Ensemble Theater actually has a larger budget than at least 3 of these motherfuckers. She got a brand new $20 million building.
$20 million.
$20 million theater, but she's not a Lord theater, and don't nobody respect her. But I'm gonna keep it out. I'm gonna double check this as you're speaking, but I also think that there are technically, I think that only 2 of those are Lord. I think Court and Goodman are the only Lord ones. I think you're right. Which makes it even worse that Jackie Taylor, right, who has a larger budget and a parking garage, like is even beneath these names. But go on. Right. No, but go off. But you're right. I think you're correct. So here we go. Victory Gardens was founded by a gentleman named Dennis Zychek. Dennis Zychek is actually like a human being. He's like a white with a soul. I've known him since I was a child. He had a vision back in the day so he had this theater and he had this space on Lincoln Avenue, which is, it used to be the projects, but he was there when it was the hood and transitioned into Cadillac Stroller. It's the Lululemon Society now, right? So he has a space. And what he did was, my theater, Impact at the time, and a few other mid-sized and small theaters, he was like, when we're not using all this space, come rent it. Wait a minute, let me write y'all in some grants. Wait a minute, let me give y'all some of this arts and education money and let your artists go make this money. Wait a minute, let me support these mid-sized, smaller theaters. Let me do this for y'all. Let me do it. Let me help you. They haven't. They had a Tony, they had a regional Tony, theater grew. It was amazing and spectacular and amazing and whatever. They get the money and the resources to buy their own space down the street. Beautiful theater, the Biograph Theater. It's a historic space. The mobsters killed each other on St. Valentine's Day there. They buy this space. His boy, so Dennis says, so let's keep the old space, yo, and just give it to the small theaters and help and let that be an incubator space for small and mid-sized theaters in Chicago. And we'll keep writing grants for them and supporting them. His board says, fuck what you heard. We're going to sell this to these multi-billion-dollar land developers in the neighborhood, and then we're just going to move down the street and take all the money. Dennis is like, your mama, what? And they're like, oh, Dennis, you soft ass Woodstock hippie, go. And they kick him off his board. This is 2008. 6, 8, somewhere around there. Fast forward to this year. So the panorama has happened. Victory Gardens almost got shut down because of their foolishness. A Black woman, Roxana Connor, stood in the fucking crosshairs and was like, don't close the building. I'll help these motherfuckers be better white. Stands, protects the building from the fuckery. 2 years, they hire Ken Matt Martin, who is an amazing young theater artist. They hire him. He comes into the space, tries to do something different. Roxana tries to do something different. They start to recreate a coalition of artists of color and queer, whatever. This happens. The board, now led by this Clarence Thomas, step and fetch it, toenail biting ass coon, Charles, come see me, bruh, if you got questions. Because I said what I said about you. Decides they want to buy some more property because they're really trying to make this a commercial space. They ain't worried about the art. Mm. Roxana and Kim Matt are like, your mama and your mama's mama. Well, no, we don't even have the staff for this. Like, we don't have the resources for this. So they decide to just fire Kim Matt unceremoniously. So Roxana, because she is a woman of principle, says, and then I'm out. So here we are, one of the most treasured and one of the theater companies that was actually trying to do the work of inclusion and diversity, actually nurtured playwrights of color, playwrights, female playwrights, actually, hey, Denise was here for college.
I was there. I did shoes. That was my Chicago debut by Gloria Bongo.
Listen, like they actually were trying to do the work that you motherfuckers whap about, right? Mm-hmm. White supremacy lives inside your head. So I talk about white supremacy a lot, but I want people to know with all these other 3 brown faces sitting here, that it's also an ideal that lives inside of you. Because this Black man is the chairman of this board. And what they decided, because the staff quit, all the artistic associates quit, the play that was on stage, Colored Water, the playwright was like, give my shit back. So they pulled the show, and these motherfuckers were like, oh, that's unfortunate. We're just going to rebuild. And if there was never a clearer sign to BIPOC, queer, and disabled artists that don't nobody give a fuck about you and you just need to go do your own work, it's this. The end. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah.
And that's it. it's it. And Carla, you know, what I found interesting is it just reminds me of this time I was at Penumbra, and it's the second in the trilogy, in the Emmett Till trilogy.
Okay, it was what's her name? Aoife's
Yes.
place.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So we're up in Minneapolis kind of randomly, and we go to Penumbra to see the show, which was, right. And I'm leaving the theater, and the Black folks is like, "Ooh, you know, you can come Penumbra for a heavy show." And I was like, I need y'all to understand something. Because when you don't have a creative home that's your home, then anybody's in charge of your narrative. Anybody's in charge of your narrative. And while yes, that was heavy, that was a conversation and a piece that needed to be that was just true and needed at the time. And I was so grateful to drive 6.5 hours to sit in a theater and watch it be produced correctly with Black and brown bodies everywhere. And I think that's the other piece of it for me, right? Because in the absence of those homes, in the absence of those grounding places, then motherfuckers run around because they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway, right? I told people, please stop telling me you surprised. Stop being surprised at people doing shit that they've always done.
Right.
Be surprised when the shit change for real. Then be surprised. Because any other day is just Tuesday, right?
Right.
But getting to that place where you can say, I'm done spending my energy and time here. And then having a place where you can go and spend that energy and time, where you don't have to go out into the wilderness with your stick of chewing gum, a piece of fall, and 2 sticks, right? And be out here trying to MacGyver shit, making $1 out of 15 cents, right? It like, when do we get to a point where we're investing in the work that's happening?
Right.
Yes.
And investing in us.
Yes, and that's you know,
and investing in us, because what is it? There's a fear, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Nick. There's a fear, like we feel like, you know, back in the day, I can imagine what it's like when the Union Army came and was like, now you can go, right? It's over, slavery is over, you can leave. Massa's there, you know Massa. You know what they gonna do. You know what that is. But then there's the unknown. Go where? Go where? So a lot of our ancestors chose to stay because they didn't know where to go. And I get it. I get it in 1865. I don't get it in 2022.
Especially because we as artists have stood in that gap and shown people where to go. Like, right? Muggs is out here like passing the blueprint around in mass email chains and text messages, and like wheat pasting on the side of buildings and putting it in murals. I mean, it's just right? Because at the core of what we do is like, here is a world that you can't imagine, and it's for you. So come on.
But here's the thing. Even Tyler Perry done told you where to go. Tyler told you where to go. You know it's something else. How did we get so neutered, so spayed, that we can no longer be aspirational?
Oof. Echelle, were you about to say something?
No, that
No,
hurt
that was
my
just
soul.
a response. Here's what
Because
I'll say.
I mean, I just felt that. Like, that's that. I wish I knew. I wish that there was a that, of course, there's so many wishes, and I want everything to be like hunky dory and whatever words I'm trying to use, but like what I see people now, and as you said, I know I cannot wish for more for someone else than they wish for themselves, but it doesn't stop me from wanting that for them, and seeing them continuously going into the house of the settler instead of settling their own homes. And I have been in that house, and I'm telling y'all, they don't want us there. I've been in the house.
No.
I've been in the house. I have made the dinner. I have cleaned the tables.
Come
I've
on.
washed it. I have done all of the things. I've scrubbed the floors. I did everything that you didn't want to do in the house that you settled. And I'm still not wanted. So what is it that makes y'all not understand? This isn't our space. They want to bring us in. They want to show us off, do a little dance, do a little fucking ass minstrel show for them, while they're holding, like it's like we're the puppets, and they're holding, we're the marionettes, and they're the puppeteers, and they're holding it, and they're telling us, this is what you do, and this is what you're going to do, and this is what you're going to do. But that's not what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to do that because I know what my job here is. And you don't get to pretend like it's something else. And now you want to be mad because I told you, you wrong. You are wrong. You settled this, and then you tried to bring me in to do your work because you don't know how to do it most of the time. And then you want to be like, well, look, we got this black. You don't got this one. So y'all, I don't know where, I don't know the neutering, the spaying, I don't know, but I want it to stop for us. I want folks to open their eyes and understand that, like, let's be real, being on a white person's stage ain't worth being on.
It's not. The check ain't worth it.
It's not.
Because the check is temporary. The check is not even enough to sustain you. These are not millions of dollars that will sustain you. This is to a couple of thousands of dollars, with a promise that if you're a good nigga, you may continue to get more thousands of dollars.
Right, you might get asked back if you do what they say.
If you
take that whipping good. If you take that whipping quiet.
But you as artists have not figured out, let me play the long game. Let me lend my art to these small, mid-sized, Black and brown and queer institutions and accessibility focused institutions. Let me take this smaller check. Let me get out of the fucking union, because what have we learned about equity? What have we learned about access equity? Let me get out of these fucking unions. Let me buy my Obamacare. Let me do this, play this long game for a year, and help build an institution that I can live in and grow in.
And it is good for our people.
It's the Tulsa of it all. It's the Rosewood of it all. When are we going to get back to building our own economies and communities in art?
And it's understanding that because I'm in a position where I work for an organization that works directly with commercial theater, which was never my goal, but here I am. And I'm proud of the work I do because I'm giving Black folks access to skills. I'm not even interested in the rooms they're going in, if I'm being real. Like, I
Right.
think it's great that they are able to connect with folks and like build a network and have conversation and like be around people and be in the conversation, because you have to be in this industry to like, gain access to the real people you need to be connected to. Like, if I didn't go to Creighton and if I wasn't at the Rose, I never would have met Denise. I never would have met Shell. Like, I never would have met Carla through Denise. Like I had to be in these spaces to eventually like find my folks. But like, that's the part that we need to remember, is that this work, we have to shift. It has to be about finding our folks. It has to be about finding the people that we want to continue to make space and art with. I talk to my fellows all the time and they're like, well, like, did they just bring me in here to check a box? And I'm like, well, probably. And you know what? I'm gonna check that box with a rainbow crayon. And they're gonna remember that I checked that box, and I probably cut somebody out on the way out. And you know what? They still called me and wanted me to work with them. You want to know why? Because I stood on my values and I told them who I was. And now they know they can't like, when people come to me and they're always like, you won't believe what they said to me. Or like, but I'm like, do you realize that they said that to you and not me? Because we were in the same show and they didn't talk to me like that. so like, that's the other thing, is like, where does that line of accountability start? Like, I just want to empower folks to know that there is no one in space that you can give so much power over your autonomy or the level of respect that you deserve. Because what? Like, you're nervous you won't big book the next show, or you're nervous that you're gonna burn that bridge. Like, Denise says it to me all the time. She's like, sometimes I'm burning that bridge not because I don't want to cross it again, but I don't want you to come after me. Like, I'm like running, I'm like throwing the match, and I'm running in the opposite direction. Like, there are just some bridges that need to be set ablaze. And fire is really pretty sometimes.
Cleansing.
Yep.
It's
Enjoy
cleansing.
dropping that match. Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
But I just want us to stop thinking about this like it's negative.
Right.
Oh my God, what do you burn this bridge? True story. TCG, Los Angeles. I think that was 2012. Now, I've been dealing with TCG for the last like 3 years before this, right? And I had the first one I went to, I was like, y'all some racist motherfucking racists. And so I've been sending hate mail the whole time. And at this particular one, at the LA one, they had invited me and us, and we had paid, we went, and it's like, we're just trying to keep the Negroes calm. Like, ooh, ooh, ah! Like, they was trying to calm the savage Negro. So we get there, and there were 3 people of color, because that was before BIPOC. 3 people of color events, right? The third one was on the last day of the conference, after the conference. So I won't call my homegirl's name, but she is Chicago badass motherfucker. And she sends me a text message and says, "Ho, where's you?" I'm like, "Where's you?" She like, "I'm at the people of color thing." I was like, "Where's that?" She tells me it's around the corner, down the woods, through forest, in this secret room. Now I'm irritated because the last 3 people of color things I didn't have to run to like this, because I didn't even know they were happening because they weren't in the schedule.
Wow.
Now at this point, so I get in there, it's beautiful. It's like 100 motherfuckers in this room, black, brown, all over the country. This beautiful Native American man that I still like, who is you? What's your name is? He was fine, he was gorgeous, he had feathers. It was great. It was a gorgeous day. And so I go in there, and at that point I had taken a few classes, and I learned that you let 2 people speak before you act the ass. So I sat there and I let 2 people speak. And they were like, "How does everybody else feel about the conference?" So I raised my hand and I said, "My question is, how the fuck was I supposed to know this was happening? Was I supposed to listen for the drums? Like, was it tapping? How was I supposed to know? Because this shit wasn't on none of the fucking official documents for the conference." So another Black woman who I will not say her name, Sharif. I won't say her name. Looked at me like I talked about her mama. Well, we were trying to create safe space. I said, safe space for who? The white people? Because we're not supposed to talk about, like, nobody's supposed to know we're here. Like, why does it have to be a secret that we're having a people of color conversation? And then the wheels fall off. The wheels fall off. The whole, whatever they thought they was talking about was over on that day. Lydia Diamond, who is a longtime colleague of mine, was sitting in the back of the room, and she was like, I'd like to say yes to what Carla said. All the Chicago motherfuckers were sitting on this side. Teatro Luna, all these motherfuckers were sitting over here like, what the fuck she said? Why are you in the first? Like, this shit is happening. So the wheels fell off. It was a terrible moment. It was East Coast, West Coast. Like, it really was one of these things. And I bring this up because I had another colleague who was a Chicagoan who was living in LA at the time call me later and say, you know, Carla, I heard about what happened. What happened where? At TCG. What happened? Carla, you know, people were very upset with you. Upset with me about what? I mean, you can't really just be out there like being angry. Like, I understand what you were saying, but you should have, and this is a person who is on TV now, kind of, a second city person, kind of. This is, you just went to, I mean, you have to think about these things before you do that. I said, nigga, I thought about it. And I thought that I had to listen to know where the Black people shit was. And that bothered me. I said what I said. And that's the problem.
Yeah. It's
because that was 2012. That was 10 years ago. Why are we still doing this?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking way too long. It's been too much talking. Talk. I just hear myself now, and I'm like, I'm annoyed with the fact that I talked so long. Fuck them.
I'm tired.
And people get mad when I say stuff. I don't care. You know what? I do think of burning bridges as a positive step, because what it means is I figured out your gans and your shenanigans, and I'm fucking done.
And shenanigans.
You could
So
your nananans. I
Yeah.
figured out your nananans.
and I'm good. I don't want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? You go ahead and start rebuilding whatever bridge you think you need to build with somebody else. How about that? Because this is my space and you can't have it.
You don't get access.
Nope.
And I don't care.
No.
And here's the
Because
thing.
nothing I said is wrong and nothing I said is untrue. And I'm tired of people acting like because you've spoken truth as a Black woman, that all of a sudden you're all the things that we know that they think about us.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the truth of the situation. You're looking at 4 people right now who have not missed a meal, opportunity, who have created the work they want to create, who have built the artistic lives they want to build. Am I on OWN? Am I on ABC? Actually, I am on NBC. So, bitch. Actually, I'm a producer, bitch. My shit's on Peacock right now, what you heard. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I actually am on a network. But I haven't lost anything. I haven't lost anything by being honest. I haven't lost anything by being true to myself. And that's where I need my people to get to. I need us to move forward. This is the truth. the American Negro is about 13 years old in historical purposes, right? We're teenagers because you can't start to grow until you're free. And on paper, the American Negro wasn't free until 1965 when the Civil Rights Bill was signed.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister was born in 65. She'll be 57 this year. So that, like, if you look at the history of the world, that means the American Negro is about 13 years old. It's a teenager. And much like teenagers, we're thrashing around, trying to get attention, trying to find our independence, trying to force somebody to listen to us. And I need us to grow up quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And in you know, this conversation that we're having, like, I want us to understand what page we're trying to get to. I want us as Black and brown folks that are making this art to you know, our mission is no longer we need to get inside the house to play with them. That can't be where we're at anymore. Like, it can't be. We will not survive. We are barely surviving.
I don't want a seat at your table.
No.
I want my own house on another block.
With proper seasonings.
Yes.
With the correct seasonings. Yes.
Yeah, and the right foods, just period. Just
Ain't no okra in y'all house. I ain't got no okra.
But you know, that's what it's about. That's why I wanted to gather these beautiful, strong Black women tonight, because we have all experienced things individually. We are all in different, you know, we are all now getting to, I believe that this group of folks is always moving toward the same page. We may be in different proximity to the white nonsense than each other, because I just jumped nose deep into I don't gotta talk to them too much. It's fine. But those conversations that I'm having with my fellows and trying to empower them, like, you know, like, I'm not here to make you a Broadway robot. Like, if that's what you're interested in me doing, you need to call somebody else. I'm not interested. I'm from Nebraska and I plan on going back there. Like, crazy enough, like, I'm not here for this. Like, I am here to put you in space so that you can gain skills. You can use those resources. You got a free printer, dog. I'm gonna give you a free printer and a salary. Like, you can do whatever you want with that. Like, you can take whoever you want to coffee. You can start building whatever you want. Like, don't think that I'm putting you in this space so that you have an instant access to the president or the CEO or the whoever or the, I don't talk to them people. They're like, because they don't want to really talk to us like that.
no, that's not what they're there for.
They aren't
They
even
don't care.
talking to the white staff like that. That is not how they operate. Like, so, like, what are you getting from this? How are you putting your mask on before you put the mask on the person next to you? Huh? That is airplane logic. Airplane logic. I'm gonna write a book called Airplane Logic.
That'll be lovely.
Listen, you know I live by airplane logic.
Okay, before we go though, we need the chapters of the book. What are the 7 chapters of this Carla Stillwell, Dante masterpiece?
It is Carla
book?
Stillwell, Reverend Dr. Dante Ramon Hilliard, because my best friend is actually an ordained reverend.
Me too.
So The Unhealed and the Unwashed, a comprehensive guide. Chapter 1, the fuck shit, the bullshit, and the lies. Chapter 2, the hobosexuals. Who knows what a hobosexual is? Right hand.
I would like you to define it for the class.
A hobosexual is someone who is routinely between jobs or homes and will have sexual relations with anybody that provides them shelter. Facts. The hoteps, the natural Negroes who, you know, use the crystal deodorant and, you know, and, you know, those. And it's a whole lot of misogyny that goes into that. The MAGAs, we all know who they are because they're on our news every day. The Amber Heards. There are oh my God. There are
They're
so many
everywhere.
women
They're everywhere.
out here men and women out here creating narratives to support their bad decisions
Mm,
Mm-hmm. And
mm.
lies.
and lie.
Yeehaw. That's all I gotta say. Yeehaw.
Oh God. The pills, the potions, and the booger sugar. That's chapter 6. Because drugs are real
Drugs are real.
and people use them and they influence the people. And lastly, we are going to create a chapter 7, rituals of protection. This is ways in which you can protect yourself from the bullshit. Coming soon. The unwashed and, the unhealed and the unwashed, a comprehensive guide. Those are the chapters. Thank you.
Get your pre-orders, folks.
Listen.
Don't go fast.
I'm in.
And until that book comes, like, put your mask, airplane logic. Put your mask on before you put the others on. We, as Black and brown artists, and those that say that you are adjacent to us doing this work, need to put our mask on. We need to think about the long game, like Carla said. How are we using the resources in these spaces to build what we want to see? Because it ain't, whatever y'all thought was gonna happen ain't happening. It ain't happening. And I think, and that doesn't mean I don't want anyone to walk away with this being like, they were so negative. No, this should be a caca. This is a freeing moment for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is a moment that you can let it go. Like because that ain't working. So we know
Elsa,
where we
that
have
shit.
to go.
Elsa,
Because-
that shit.
Thank you.
Let me tell you
Elsa
something.
it.
And I know we're getting off, but I had a conversation. We did a show here. One of my organizations I work with, Collaboration, a bunch of well-meaning multicultural people that spend a lot of money and time trying to do like healing shit to like make people better. We did this show called Moonset Sunrise, right? And it's just a big hippie affair. Motherfuckers got together. There was incense. There was a tribunal rituals. There was Aztec dances. It was land acknowledgements. We just did a lot. And we invited a lot of musicians in that didn't understand what was going on. One of them was a trumpet player named John David. John David was like, I don't know. The first day he showed up, he was like, what the fuck is this shit? The third day, after he was like, after all of this, he comes to one of the conga players who is fully entrenched in ritual and growth, Coco. And he goes, I didn't even know this type of shit happened in the world. How do I do this? Like, I just want to do this. And Coco looked at him. I was standing there. She said, you go find a bunch of motherfucking musicians that think like you and you do it. She looked at him and she said, stop trying to look for healing spaces in music and be the healing space in music. And I was standing there, oh my God. So I saw this happen, right? And that's what we all have to be as artists. Stop looking for the space to belong and create the space that you want. That's the oxygen mask that Nick is talking about. You have the power. Let me tell you, as somebody who started their own organization and got a lot of money to do it, all you have to say to the universe is, I want to create this shit. And it will come to you. That's the party message. That's the oxygen mask. Stop worrying about finding the space to do it. Just create it. Find like-minded people in your community that want to be better people and better humans and create a world and an art that feeds people, and it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful box, though. You tell people, just do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Do the work. It's not complicated. I mean, it's hard, but it's not complicated. Do the work.
It's hard, but it's not
hard, and that's the problem.
It's not complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Do the work. I'm not saying you ain't gonna sweat. I'm not saying it's not hard, because you got to do it. But that's it. That's the answer. Do the work.
All right, Nick, we're gonna give you a show back. Bye.
That's the joy, is doing the work
Mhm.
and being with like-minded people, being with our people. That's what uh it lifts. It's the lifting. It's the settling that we need to have
Mhm.
so that we've got spaces that are ours. And like you said, this isn't about being down or whatever. This is about saying, yes, yes, this is the step. This is my next step. These are my next 4 steps. These are my next 10 steps. I know where I'm going. I'm hanging with Denise.
Happy to have you, Echelle.
Yes. Listen.
Echelle, when I come back, because I'm hanging with Denise, we gotta kick it.
I'll be there.
I'll get the living room ready. You
All
see,
right.
I got the pillows. I got
I
the pillows.
see.
I
Flop.
Listen, y'all better tell me if I hear about a secret party and I didn't get invited, I'll
Oh
be mad.
Lord, no.
You know, people already looking for me because the last time you was here, Carla, they was like, "Oh, so now we having secret workshops." I was like,
No, the girls were mad. Facebook
People
was
were
upset.
mad.
"Oh, they was hot."
People were upset.
Ah, what a privilege and joy to sit and speak with all of you tonight. Thank you for sharing your time and your energy. I hope that those that are watching feel blessed as I do today to be in the presence of these lovely, inspirational people. And, thanks, y'all. This is what I needed because it's time for us to turn that page, put on that mask, and move forward with Denise. All right, farewell.